Does Luke want to have lunch with Scott?
Does Luke want to have lunch with Scott?
No, that's not what he wants.
No, that's
Luke
not
doesn't
what he
want to have
wants.
lunch with
Luke
Scott.
doesn't want to have lunch
What
with
does
Scott.
Luke want?
What does Luke want?
Luke wants to meet with Scott.
Luke wants
Does
to
Luke
meet with
want to
Scott.
borrow money from Scott?
Does Luke want to borrow money from Scott?
No, Luke doesn't want to borrow money from Scott.
No, Luke doesn't want to borrow
What
money
does
from
Luke
Scott.
want?
What does Luke want?
Luke wants to meet with Scott.
Luke wants
Does
to
Luke
meet
want
with
to
Scott.
have a meeting with Scott?
Does Luke want to have a meeting with Scott?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Luke wants to meet with Scott,
Luke wants
which is the
to meet
same
with
thing
Scott.
as saying that Luke wants to have a meeting with Scott. To meet with someone means to have a meeting with someone. Does Luke wants to have a meeting with Scott? Yes, that's correct. Luke wants to meet with Scott, which is the same thing as saying that Luke.
Yes, that's correct. Luke wants to meet with Scott, which is the same thing saying that Luke wants to have a meeting with Scott. To meet someone mean to have a meeting with someone.
Wants to have a meeting with Scott. To meet with someone means to have a meeting with someone. Does Luke think the meeting will last all day?
No, does Luke think the meeting will last all day?
How long does he think the meeting will last?
How long does he think the meeting will last?
He thinks the meeting will last about 3 hours.
He thinks the meeting will last
Does he
about
think the meeting will
3
last
hours.
more than 4 hours?
Does Luke think the meeting will last more than 4 hours?
No, he doesn't think the meeting will last more than 4 hours.
No, he doesn't think the meeting will last more than
How
4
long
hours.
does he think the meeting will last?
How long does he think the meeting will last?
He thinks the meeting will last about 3 hours.
He thinks the meeting will last about 3 hours.
Does Scott have time for meetings this week?
Does Scott have a time for Scott has time
No,
for meetings
Scott doesn't
this
have
week?
time for meetings this week. He's very busy.
No,
Is Scott a
doesn't
little
have
busy
time for
or
meetings
very busy this week?
He's very busy this week.
Scott is very busy this week.
Is Scott a little busy or very busy this week? Well, Scott is very busy this week.
Will the meeting between Luke and Scott take place this week?
Will the meeting between Luke and Scott take place this week?
No, the meeting between Luke and Scott will not take place this week.
No, the meeting between Luke and Scott
When will the meeting take
will
place?
not take place this week. When will
The meeting will
take
place next week.
The meeting take place.
Is it true that the meeting will take place next week instead of this week?
Will the meeting take place next week instead of this week?
Yes, it's true. The meeting will take place next week instead of this week.
Yes, it's true. The meeting will take place next
Why
week
will the meeting take place next week instead of this week?
Why will the meeting take place next week instead of this week?
Well, the meeting will take place next week instead of this week because Scott is very busy this week.
Well, the meeting will take place next week instead of this week because Scott is very busy this week.
Now, let's have Luke and Scott figure out the best day next week to set up their meeting. You're looking at the schedules for Luke and Scott's for next week. I'm gonna ask questions based on their schedules. Will Luke be in the office on Monday?
Will Luke be in the office on Monday?
Yes, he will.
Yes,
Luke
he
will be in the
will.
office on Monday.
Yes, he will.
What
Luke
about
will be in the
Scott? Will
office on
Scott be
Monday.
in the office on Monday?
What about Cat? What about Scott? Will Scott be in the office
No,
on
he
Monday?
won't. Scott won't be in
No,
the
he
office on Monday.
Scott won't be in the
Who
office
won't
on
be in the
Monday.
office on Monday?
Who will be? Who will be on? Who will be?
Is Scott.
In the
Scott will
office
be in
on
the
Monday.
office on Monday.
Is Scott.
Is it true that Scott will be absent?
Who won't be Who won't be in the office on Monday? Where is Scott? Scott won't be in the office on Monday.
For work on Monday? Yes, that's true. Scott will be absent from work on Monday. Can I set up the meeting on Monday?
Can they set up their meeting on Monday?
No, they cannot set up the meeting on Monday.
No, they cannot set up their meeting on Monday.
Why can't they set up the meeting on Monday?
Why can't they set up their meeting on Monday? Well, they can't set up their meeting on Monday because...
Well, they can't set up the meeting on Monday because Scott won't be in the office. He'll be on
Scott
vacation.
won't be in the office. He'll be on vacation.
Will Luke be on vacation next week?
Will Luke be on vacation next week? Will Luke be on vacation next week?
No, Luke won't be on vacation next week.
No, Luke
Who
won't
will
be
be
on
on
vacation
vacation
next
next week?
Who will be on vacation next week?
Scott will be on vacation next week.
Scott won't be in
Will he
vacation
be
next
on
week.
vacation for 5 days?
Will he be on vacation for 5 days?
No, he won't be on vacation for 5 days.
No, he won't
This
be
is
on
going to be
vacation
a
for
short
5 days.
vacation.
This is going to
How many
a
days
short
will he be on
vacation.
vacation?
How many days will he be
He'll
on
be on
vacation?
vacation for 3 days.
He'll be on vacation for 3 days.
Will Scott be in the office on Monday?
Will Scott be in the office on Monday?
No, Scott won't be in the office on Monday.
No, Scott won't be in the office on
Does
Monday.
that mean they can't set up the meeting on Monday?
Does that mean they can set up the meeting on Monday?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Yes, that's exactly
that means
right.
they can't set up the meeting on Monday.
They can set up the meeting on Monday.
What about Tuesday? Can
What
they
about
set up the meeting on
Tuesday?
Tuesday?
Can they set up the meeting on Tuesday?
No, they still can't set up the meeting on Tuesday.
No, they still can't set up the meeting on
Why
Tuesday.
can't they set up the meeting on Tuesday?
Why can't they set up the meeting on Tuesday?
Well, they can't set up the meeting on Tuesday because
they
Scott
can't set
will
up
be
the
in the
meeting on
office.
Tuesday
Who will be absent from work on Tuesday?
because Scott won't be in the office. Who won't be absent from work on Tuesday?
It's Scott.
It's Scott.
Scott will be absent from work
Scott
on Tuesday.
Won't be absent from work
Will
on
Scott be
Tuesday.
back on Wednesday?
Will he be
No,
back
he
on
won't.
Wednesday?
Scott won't be back on Wednesday.
No, he won't. Scott won't
Why
be
will
back on
Scott
Wednesday.
be back?
Where will Scott be back?
Scott will be back on Thursday.
Scott won't be back on
Will
Thursday.
Scott be absent from work on Thursday?
Do they absent from work on Thursday?
No, Scott won't be absent from work on Thursday.
No, Scott
He'll
won't
be in the office.
absent from work on Thursday.
All right, so Scott will be back on Thursday. Does that mean they can set up their meeting on Thursday?
Does that okay? If they
Scott Scott will be back on Thursday. Does that mean they can set up their meeting on Thursday?
Okay, Scott will be back on Thursday. So does they can set up their meeting on Thursday?
Unfortunately, no. They still can set up their meeting on Thursday.
They still can set up their
Why
meeting
can't
on
they set up their meeting on
Thursday?
Thursday?
Why can't they set up the meeting on Thursday?
Well, they can't set up their meeting on Thursday because Luke won't be in the office. He has a doctor's appointment that day.
Well, they
Who
can't
has
set
a
up their meeting on Thursday because Scott is very Scott won't be in the office on Thursday because he has a doctor's appointment that day.
doctor's appointment on Thursday?
Because he has a doctor's appointment on Thursday.
It's Luke. Luke has a doctor's appointment on Thursday.
It's Luke. Luke has
Does
a
Scott
doctor's
have any
appointment
doctor's
that day.
appointment next week? No, Scott doesn't have any doctor's appointment next week.
Does Scott have any doctor's appointments next week? No, Scott doesn't have any doctor's appointments next week.
Tell me again. Why can't they set up their meeting on Thursday?
Tell me again, why can't they set up the meeting on Tuesday?
They can't set up their meeting on Thursday because Luke has a doctor's appointment that day. So he won't be in the office.
That day.
Will Luke be in the office on Friday?
Will Luke be in the office on Friday? Will Luke be in the office
yes, he
on
will.
Friday?
Luke will be in the office on Friday.
Yes, he will. Luke will be
What
in
about
the
Scott?
office on Friday.
Will Scott be in the office on Friday as
will
well?
Scott will Scott be in the office on Friday?
Yes, Scott will be in the office on Friday as well.
Yes, Scott will be in
Can
the
they
office
set up
on
their
Friday
meeting
as
on
well.
Friday?
Can they set up the meeting on
Yes,
Friday?
they can't set up their meeting that day.
Yes, they can set up their meeting
Will both
that
Luke
day.
and Scott be in the office on Friday?
Will Luke and Scott
yes,
will
they
be,
will.
be
Both
in the office
Luke
on
and
Friday?
Scott will be in the office
Yes,
on
they
Friday.
Will. Luke and Scott will be in
Can
the
they
office
set
on
up their
Friday.
meeting on Friday?
Can they set up their meeting on Friday?
Yes, they can.
Yes,
Both
they can.
Luke and Scott will be in the office on Friday,
so
they can set up their meeting that day.
So they can set up the meeting that day.